House of the Dragon has been really, really good this season. I didn't talk about last week's here on this YouTube channel, but the whole dragon battle with Rhaenys and her dragon Meleys fighting against Aegon on Sunfire and Aemond on Vhagar was really epic and pretty interesting because there were some big changes from the book, especially Aemond pretty much obviously purposefully attacking Aegon and actually being the one, rather than Rhaenys, the one to almost kill him. This week we learned that Aegon is alive, but mutilated, his body burned from head to toe, his Valyrian steel armor broken and melted into his skin. He hangs on by dear life. There's one very sad moment when they think he's in a coma, but as Alicent leaves the room, he says very quietly, "Mommy." This whole episode was filled with mommy issues. There's a scene where Daemon, having been cursed by this witch Alice Rivers at Harrenhal, has a sex dream that turns out to be his mother, Alyssa Targaryen, which, it's not that weird for Targaryens to have sex dreams about their moms, but Alicent continues to have issues with all of her children. This time around, Aemond more than any. She wants to become the regent while Aegon convalesces, but almost nobody on the small council supports her. They all say it must be Aemond, including Larys Strong, the Clubfoot, the Master of Whisperers, who, likes her feet, and Sir Criston Cole, Hand of the King, commander of the King's Guard, lead general in the army, who she's been screwing. Both of these men support Aemond over her, and she realizes at this point that she has just lost all direct power over what's going on in King's Landing and the throne. Over in Dragonstone, the mommy issues are a little less pronounced. Jacaerys is bothered by the fact that his mother keeps him down, doesn't let him do anything, so he goes to the twins to treat with the Freys and get their support. It's interesting to go back to the twins because the last time we were there, of course, was with all the conflict between the Walder Frey and his vast family and the Starks, the Red Wedding and all of that. Yes, Arya visits the twins again towards the end of Game of Thrones and kills everybody, but that's kind of cheesy when you think about it. That she would put all of his many sons into pies. Like, how did she do that? They sort of gloss over that, don't they? The one thing, thinking about these two shows, the one thing that I think House of the Dragon is missing is a sense of humor. And this, I think, has ramifications beyond just us getting our laughs in, right? A sense of humor. Well, in such a dark show, comic relief is very nice to have, right? It gives us a moment after all these grim and ugly things happen. It gives us a moment to laugh, and that's just a very human. We need that. It's not a want. We need it, right? If you're hanging out with your friends and somebody falls or like steps, step like in a cartoon, steps on a rake and it hits them in the face. I mean, that never really happens. But if it did happen, you'd all laugh, even though they were hurt, right? And then you'd probably try to, do you need help? But you'd be laughing about it because we instinctively want to laugh when bad things happen, right? It's a very normal human impulse. And when stuff is so dark and there's so much death and there's so much, in House of the Dragon in particular, there's so many just unpleasant characters and things happening. And there's not much to root for because even this conflict, like, yeah, you might root for Team Black because you think Rhaenyra has a better, claim to the throne. But is it quite the same as rooting for Robb Stark, who's marching on King's Landing to save Ned Stark and to save his sisters, and then to fight for freedom for the North after 2 generations of Stark lords have been killed in King's Landing? I mean, that's like a noble war, right? Robb Stark, the young wolf, marching to save his father who's wrongfully imprisoned, and then to avenge his father who is wrongfully beheaded. Rhaenyra wants the throne because her dad promised it to her, and now she's in a fight with her relatives over which asshole Targaryen gets to rule the Seven Kingdoms. That to me is a much less sympathetic setup, right? That's okay. I love the story, right? This war for succession is very, very compelling. but it doesn't give you someone to root for in the same way as you had in Game of Thrones. And to make matters worse, nobody is funny. I think that is the fundamental flaw with House of the Dragon. It's not a deal breaker, but we don't have people like Tyrion. We don't have people like Bronn. We don't have, odd couples like the Hound and Arya. We don't have funny people giving Jon Snow, who is not a funny character. We don't have people giving him crap like Ygritte or Tormund Giantsbane, right? All of these characters bring some comic relief to this otherwise very dark, very violent world. And, Robert Baratheon, for all his flaws, was a funny character. There's a lot of humor in Game of Thrones. And I'm thinking about other shows like Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is a very dark, very grim crime drama, right? It's horrible what happens in Breaking Bad. But look at who they cast for that, right? Like a good portion of the actors in Breaking Bad are comedians or comedic actors. And it's a very funny show. So is Better Call Saul, right? You have shows like this that work so well because humor is one of the fundamental ingredients in getting us to care about the characters. If Game of Thrones had been as humorless and bleak as House of the Dragon, it never would have been as popular as it was. I am not saying that House of the Dragon is bad by any means. It's a phenomenal show, and I'm really enjoying it. But how much better could it be if we could care more about these characters, and if once in a while we had something kind of funny happen? And yeah, sure, there's some funny adjacent things that go on. Daemon realizing that the Blackwoods have spurned his orders and just gone ahead and done all their dastardly deeds flying Targaryen banners, and his reaction to that is kind of funny, right? I mean, there's little bits here and there that are kind of funny, but it's really not. It's not what I would define as like comic relief or a sense of humor. So. As good as this episode was, as good as this season has been, as epic as the dragon battles are, and I'm sure we'll get a lot more of that, it just would be nice if somewhere in all of this mix of ugly, dark, bleak, grim shit, we had someone cracking a joke now and then, because it gets a little exhausting. It really does. Now, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm picking at nits. I don't know. Maybe there's something funny that I'm not noticing it because my sense of humor doesn't jive. I don't know. I just don't see it. So let me know what you think in the comments. And please do like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all of that down here below the video so you get updates and so that I can grow my subscriber count above. Well, right now we're just shooting for 17,000 and we're getting there. Yeah, we have 3 more episodes of this show. I need to talk about the most recent boys. Pretty soon we have Rings of Power coming back, and we have the finale of The Acolyte. So lots and lots of other TV shows to talk about, as well as Deadpool and Wolverine coming out here soon, and some other good movies that I'm excited to see and talk about as well. So thank you for watching. Catch you next time. Peace.